Before I begin, I wanted to share this new thing that we're using, and it's called Swivel. You can quickly and easily hook up your iPhone or iPad, download the software, and then connect it to this little swivel base, and then you can talk into the microphone and actually run it by the record button here. And so then you can videotape what's going on in your classroom, you can have students videotape things, and then you can watch in replay. So I'm using the swivel today to talk about things that we'd like you to do in your classroom. As we go through these different things, you have to understand, I'm not an expert at this, I am not going to be perfect, but I am going to demonstrate what we'd like you to do, or what I'd like you to do if I came into your classroom and wanted you to demonstrate your use of identifying the learning goals in your classroom, or a learning scale, and talking about it with your kids. So the first thing would be, maybe it's at the beginning of your lesson and you're talking to your students, or in my classroom, and again, I hope you don't think this is cheesy, but I need to have somebody to talk to. So I have Mr. Ozzie and Mr. Wilson and Mr. Prince Charming. So I've got 3 guys in my group here, and sometimes we're going to do some interacting, or I'm going to have them do some kind of interaction, small group discussion. So anyhow, nice to see you guys. Thank you for paying attention. Let's go through what our learning goal is to begin our lesson. Mr. Ozzie, can you read the learning goal aloud for us? Thank you. You're right. The learner will analyze, or the teacher will analyze data and track school progress. Okay, in your small groups, review with each other what you think our learning goal for today is. And that might be what you do. You also, at that beginning of the lesson, you may come over and you could talk about your scales. Okay, today, Mr. Wilson, where do you feel that you're at? And before, you know what, let's not even do that yet. In your small groups or your elbow partner, talk to your elbow partner, and I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and I've got my little stopwatch over here, and they can see that. I want you to look at the scale today and talk to your elbow partner and tell them where you believe that you are on this scale for our learning goal. Okay? Elbow partners together. All right, we've got 10 seconds. And they talk back and forth. 10 seconds later. Okay, I'm going to have a few people share, you know, and maybe have them raise their hands. Okay, so you say that you're at a 1, that you're using the strategy for our learning goal, but you're having pieces and parts that are missing. Okay, so you're beginning to use that strategy of just analyzing the data and then tracking student school progress. Good job. Okay, and then you may have others share it, or they may just do, you know, a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4, so on. It's just your gauge to see what's going on with the students and their feel for in the middle of the lesson. It might look like this. Okay, nice discussion. It looks like we've covered quite a few things that have been dealing with. And I'm going to turn everything this way if we can. If we can. Over here to my wall. We've talked about all the different types of how our district is doing with our scores, and where we're at and where we'd like to be. We've evaluated different things with our students, you know, tracking our data and so on. We've looked at that. Now, in small groups, I want you to have discussion on how we're going to use our data and students. And it might look like this. So, kids, students, let's go back and look at our learning goal. Where do you think we're at? The things that we've covered today, how can you see that connecting to this learning goal? You can have them talk to their elbow partners, so they've practiced some things, they've learned from their elbow partners, their table group discussion. Give them 5 seconds. Ready? Get together, discuss. Good. 10 seconds later, or whatever time you put, and have a discussion. Now go back to the scale. Okay, let's go back and evaluate. From what we've learned and what we've covered from the data that we've discussed in our groups, Where do you think you're at on the scale? Again, have them talk about this. They have to talk out loud and process things out loud just like we do. When we have conversation, we're actually thinking out loud. So they need to have that processing time, practicing and rehearsing what they know and what they don't understand. And at the end of the lesson, again, I might walk in at the end, which is fine. It's always nice, any part of the lesson. You're wrapping things up. It could be 5 minutes away from the bell, and you know you want to get things covered, and you want to see where all the learning's at. And again, you may say, hey, Mr. Wilson, what do you think about this learning goal? What did you do today that you felt connected, and it connected directly to this learning goal? Oh, nice. Yes, the data that we discovered and talked about with all the school districts across the state where we ranked, we looked at different student individual data and group data, how and what we needed to do for standards. You're right. I totally agree with that. So where do you think you're at the scale now? Okay, you feel like you're still at a 2. You viewed the data, and then you are just starting to partially analyze it. Very good. Okay, at the end of the lesson then, you know exactly where you're going to start at tomorrow. Tomorrow's lesson would be, you're going to go back to this, catch everybody up, see where they're at, if they've had any kind of digesting of information and they processed it a little bit better. They've changed their place over here to a number 3, or maybe they're 2.5, whatever. It's just your way to check to see what they know and how they feel the learning goal and where they're at. The other part is, whatever you're doing during the class time, you know that the things the activities or the lessons that they're doing, it's connected directly to like a learning goal that you've got posted. If it's not connected to one of these learning goals that you've got posted and you're measuring their progress, I don't think it needs to be taught in your lesson. It's just a waste of your time and of their time. And you're not really going to hit your standards if these are your standards that you want your kids to learn and learn well. When it comes NISA time, and it's just around the corner, and it maybe in a couple weeks though, mid-March to the last part of March, April. We just need to know what the kids know, and it's our way to find out their progress. And by the way, you guys appreciate all the data you have been sending. I look forward to the last round of catching information and data, and I'll get it out to you as soon as I can. Thank you.